Hello, welcome to Bitcoin Core 101. What this video covers, quick intro, free learning material, as in what can you find out there to read and learn from. I'll be demonstrating a full node set up on a Raspberry Pi, how to set it up using a setup script. We'll look at some Bitcoin Core commands. The intended audience for this is a software developer taking his or her first steps with Bitcoin Core, or a pleb with an interest in code. So, if you want to get hands-on, you need to run Bitcoin Core on your laptop or Raspberry Pi or VM or VPS. You can use Python code to demonstrate the concepts. Pip install python-bitcoin-lib is a good one. Typically, Python commands are useful for viewing the blockchain. If you install Bitcoin Core, then you can try out bitcoin-cli, and I'm going to be demonstrating how to do it with regtest. If you do run a full node, it helps the network. There are approximately 15,000 in the world right now. The more, the better, because it enforces security and it makes it more difficult for anybody to do a 51% attack or compromise the network. So, typical questions here. I'm sure you've seen these before. Isn't it just funny money? Crypto is a scam. Or as we know, Bitcoin is not crypto. I heard people lost money, it's too slow, uses too much energy. I'll let you research all those because I'm not going to preach, but I think if you ask all those questions and you do your research, you'll find answers to the contrary on most of those. I thought this was a Python channel. Yeah, my channel is a Python channel, but I don't see why that should stop me covering Bitcoin, and also there will be some Python examples in this video. So, if you're interested in Bitcoin, here's the wiki link. And before we crack on, do you trust your government and banks? So, Bitcoin encompasses more aspects of computer science than you would ever imagine. Nothing you learn to do with Bitcoin will be useless or pointless. Everything you learn about Bitcoin can be applicable to other areas of computer science. So it's so deep and broad, you will benefit from learning about Bitcoin, whatever your particular niche is or what particular niche you would like to follow. Bitcoin's often compared to TCP/IP because in the 70s it was niche. However, as we all know, now it's not. Here's a map of the nodes, 15,000 as of November 2022. United States is second, Germany third, France fourth, Netherlands fifth, Canada sixth, Finland seventh, United Kingdom eighth. So if you're in the UK, please help do something about that. I'm doing my bit. I'm in the UK and I've set up a full node. Number one, NA, that will be because most people use Tor, and that is another security enhancement, shall we say. Okay, so let's just look quickly at the adoption curve. This is where people see Bitcoin being currently, and the sooner you learn about it, you're going to have a better career. The sooner you invest in it, potentially you've got bigger gains. I'll leave that up to you. How do I learn more? Well, I'm still learning. I think everybody is. It's such a new and huge field. Mastering Bitcoin, Andreas M. Antonopoulos, and Programming Bitcoin by Jimmy Song. Both books are by O'Reilly. They also, if you download this PDF, which I'll put in the description, you can click on the links, and each book cover, when you click on the cover, will actually take you to the GitHub repo, which actually contains the free version of the book, which you can read online via the GitHub repo. Sailor.org. If you register with Sailor.org and go to CS 120, there is a course called Bitcoin for Developers. It contains examples with Python code, and it also contains examples from Mastering Bitcoin book. So yeah, thoroughly recommend that course, and it is free. You can register. using you can register with your username and create a password, or you can use your Gmail sign in and so on. So, quick overview, all the money stays on the blockchain. Bitcoin uses a blockchain. The price of Bitcoin is just a conversion rate from fiat. Really, Bitcoin aficionados will say 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. Ultimately, as dollars, pounds, etc. get debased by the governments, it will cease to have much relevance. The store of value you want in life will become Bitcoin. So, either using software on your phone or a computer or a hardware wallet, you'll be able to talk to the blockchain and make transactions. You can buy Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin, or parts thereof. 1 Bitcoin does not really exist. You're always swapping parts of. So Satoshis are the smaller unit, and you exchange those with transactions, which we'll look at shortly. So if you buy or earn some of the Bitcoin, only 21 million will ever exist, because that is how the code is written. The code is not up for negotiation. That is what you're stuck with, which is a good thing, because it means it's finite, it's scarce, and scarcity is what you want with money. If you don't have scarcity, you end up with the situation we have in the world right now, with rampant inflation and manipulation of our currency. So, can I write code in Python? Short answer is yes. You can investigate transactions. You can demonstrate key concepts. However, Bitcoin Core is written and compiled in C++. So, although you can do Python examples to understand the concepts, you would typically use a compiled language if you were to write part of the core Bitcoin language. Pip install PyBTC. If you do that, you can then just do something like import PyBTC. Create a variable A equals PyBTC, and then call the address method, which will create you a Bitcoin address. It will be in base 58 check, which converts a very, very long 2 to the power of 256 hexadecimal address. It converts it into a slightly more user-friendly address, such as we have shown here. If you use interactive Python, you could do this: import PyBTC, A equals PyBTC.address, then you can get the address. You see the fourth line, PyBTC is underscore address underscore valid. Then you can validate whether that address we just created is a correct address. Most modern Bitcoin addresses will begin with, as you can see here, EC1. Okay, so you've created an address. That address is actually more unique than a single atom in the observable universe. You can prove that with maths. You can actually prove it with Python code. What is it for? The address can be linked to you. So you have that address, you have the private keys, and then using your software or hardware wallet, you can then access the output from that transaction, which effectively you can spend. What is a full node? Why is it useful as a programmer? It will allow you to write and test your own code to perform transactions on the blockchain and understand the workings. So the best way to understand how Bitcoin works is to set up a full node and play around with it. Okay, so I know what a full node is. How can I start trying out some code? See the links here, bitcoincore.org/en/download. Get a free download. Set it up, which I'm about to show you. You need to run the daemon. Bitcoin-D is a daemon program that implements the Bitcoin protocol. There's the wiki link there. And once I've shown you how to set it up, you can run it on your own computer and start experimenting, testing it. I've run it on a Raspberry Pi 4. You can see here, I'll just briefly talk about this. It's a Raspberry Pi 4. I've taken the cover off to improve cooling. On the left, you see the SSD. That's a 1 terabyte SSD. That stores a copy of the Bitcoin blockchain. Once you've installed the Bitcoin Core software and started the daemon, it will talk to other nodes on the Bitcoin network, and it will pull down the blocks going right back to the Genesis block. The Genesis block was the first block on the blockchain, which was created in 2009. You see here I've got a red cable. That's an Ethernet cable. I'm using that in preference to Wi-Fi for additional security. I don't want anybody driving by and trying to hack my Wi-Fi. With the Wi-Fi turned off, the only way this could be compromised would be if somebody broke into my house and then plugged into the Raspberry Pi. This is taken from bitcoin-core.org. Bitcoin Core is an open source project which maintains and releases Bitcoin client software called Bitcoin Core. It is a direct descendant of the original Bitcoin software client released by Satoshi Nakamoto after he published the famous Bitcoin white paper. Bitcoin Core consists of both full node software for fully validating the blockchain, as well as a Bitcoin wallet. The project also currently maintains related software such as the cryptography library, libsec P256K1, and others located at GitHub. And there's a link there. Just to mention, there are other wallets out there which are recommended. The Bitcoin wallet is a starting point as far as I've found through my research. So yeah, don't just think you have to use the Bitcoin wallet which comes with Bitcoin Core. The purpose of this video is to really explore the full node software rather than make full use of a Bitcoin wallet, although I will show you some examples. So bitcoincore.org/en/download. As of November 2022, latest version is 23.0. We'll use this version number in the script which I'm about to show you, so this is important. You can install this on Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, ARM Linux, RISC Linux, PPC64 Linux. There's also a Snap version, which you just see the top of. So I'm about to show you the script, but I just want to briefly mention, how can I get this set up? Run a script to do this on a Mac, Linux, Raspberry Pi, or get a Ubuntu VPS with Webdock. So you could run a VPS and then you can access it from anywhere. It doesn't tie up your hardware. Webdock VPS hosting starts from €1.99 per month. You can see my other videos where I try them out. Okay, so this is the script. I've copied this script from elsewhere. I forget where. The link to my GitHub page is here. On line 4, if you're using this in the future, you will just need to edit line 4 where it says 23.0. You may need to change it to 24.0, 25.0, and so on. So now I'm about to show you a section of video that I recorded when I ran my script on a Ubuntu VPS. It could easily have been a Raspberry Pi or a Linux Ubuntu laptop or Mac OS X for that matter. So So once the script is installed Bitcoin Core, bitcoin-d provides the RPC interface in which the user can query with bitcoin-cli. You must run bitcoin-d before using bitcoin-cli. There's a syntax bitcoin-d space -- daemon. Interacting with the Bitcoin Core, the official implementation of the full node software, if it's remotely installed on another computer, establish an SSH connection to the computer running Bitcoin Core. So you'll need to use PuTTY or terminal, then you just do SSH, computer name, at IP address. Don't worry about the port, just connect on port 22. Regtest, regression test mode. So the whole point of this video is to talk about regtest. Many of the videos that I found on YouTube concentrated on the mainnet. Mainnet is where everything actually happens, where the actual value is stored. It's the live version. Regtest enables you to test many of the commands, but offline, off the actual blockchain. So it's a good, safe environment where you don't need any Satoshis or Bitcoin to test. You can create transactions using pretend ones. So not to be confused with testnet, which is a global testing environment, which actually mimics the mainnet. So that is actually talking to other nodes. The disadvantage of that is it uses up much more hard drive space. So regtest is not that widely documented, so I thought I'd make this video to help everybody. First example, bitcoin-cli space hyphen regtest. So all the commands I'm going to show from now on will begin with that. And then, as time's progressed, some of these commands have changed. So another reason why I wanted to make this video specific to version 23.0. As you can see, if you do bitcoin-cli regtest getInfo, I've got one block, one header. You can see version there, 23.00.00. It's version 23. Below, you can also see balances, and I took this screenshot after I'd created 3 wallets. One was called My Wallet, one was called My Wallet PK, and the other one was called Me. So I'm going to show the commands in yellow with the specific command in orange. And also there'll be hyperlinks on many of these pages which you can click and it will take you to the documentation. This is a very popular command, scan TX outset. Scans the unspent transaction output, set for entries that match certain output descriptors. So you can scan your node and identify unspent transaction outputs that you could potentially spend. Bitcoin-cli regtest create wallet. So to do anything, you need to create a wallet. This wallet will reside on your computer. Create wallet mu is my test name. Then generate. You also need to specify -rpcwallet equals mu after you've created it. So from now on, we'll need to specify the wallet. If you've got several wallets, you will need to specify the correct one. And then -generate. So make sure you have the dash. You can see the error message here if you don't specify the correct wallet. Here I did generate 2, and you can see it created 2 blocks on the left. If you do getwalletinfo, you can see the wallet name, the wallet version, the format, SQLite. Balance, I've created some Satoshis there, 7850. That's actually Bitcoins. Is it? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. TX count, pool size, TX fee, private keys enabled. need to check documentation on those. The purpose of this video is to get familiar with the command line syntax rather than every single minutiae. rpcwallet equals moo, generate 2. rpcwallet equals moo, get block count. So checking how many blocks there are. I generated 2, then I did get block count. I already had 4, so now I have 6. If you type the wrong command, or if you want to use help, you get some suggestions which are pretty helpful. You can also use curl, and there you see the curl in help specifies using port 8332. That's the correct port for mainnet, but if you want to use regtest, which is different to mainnet, so you've got mainnet, signet, testnet, regtest. If you want to use regtest, the port is 18332. If you want to find the block's hash, find the block's hash, so get block hash, get the hash of block 1. Once you've got that hash, you can then actually get the block which has that hash, if that makes sense. Hash, confirmations, height. If you've started learning about Bitcoin, hopefully these will look familiar. You've got difficulty, you've got bits, you've got nonce, median time there. Merkle roots, version hex, version. So yeah. Check the documentation. Again, I'm here to show you the CLI syntax mainly. So yeah, find the transaction, then you can look up the raw transaction. So we've got a TX here. So from the block, we can see a transaction because it's the value of the TX key. Get blockchain info, chain regtest. So if you're not sure what what the chain you're on, regtest, blocks 13, hash, difficulty, all the things we just mentioned. So if you download this PDF from the description, you can then copy and paste these commands if you want to. And also go to visit the hyperlinks. So here we're generating generate to address. We're going to create 101. The reason why it's 101 is because it kind of leapfrogs the wait for the blocks to be mined, or it would do if you were on the test network. So it's generate to address and then get new address. So that actually created 101 addresses. Mine blocks immediately to a specified address. Bitcoin CLI, regtest, rpcwallet equals moo, list unspent. If you were creating a wallet or writing the code to create a wallet, you would probably list unspent transactions because you need to list the unspent transactions to work out which ones to use to make a payment with. There we see the script pub key. That goes into vout, or an outgoing transaction. I won't cover that here, but scripting language is a crucial part of Bitcoin. Create raw transaction. So get your transaction ID from a UTXO in your wallet. And then you can do, as long as you specify your wallet, you can do create raw transaction. Then TXID, and then specify here the hash. Then vout, I just put as 1. So it's not a true transaction because you haven't created a proper signature sigpub key or anything, but kind of works. That's a link to sailor.org, and you'll see some code there as well. This regtest rpcwallet moo, sign raw transaction with wallet does what it says. You may get an error, input not found or already spent. Whenever you create or recreate these examples, you will get different hashes. They're all unique. So it makes it difficult to copy an example directly. So don't copy and paste what I've got here, because you need to copy the yellow commands, but don't copy my examples verbatim. Get balance, get new address, examples, example transactions. So get the balance, that's the balance of the wallet called Mu. And then I just had another wallet called testx and get new address. Now we say BC, RT1, so on. So get unconfirmed balance, 0. Get balance, 7850. So hopefully these yellow and orange examples are useful. If you've set up Bitcoin Core and you're using regtest, these will create useful examples for you. Bitcoin Core, regtest, RPC wallet test, get new address, there we see. Also, regtest validate address. As we saw earlier with the Python code, you can validate an address using Python. However, here we're doing it with bitcoin-cli. Some useful commands. These do change, so don't guarantee that they will work. Sometimes you will see examples on Stack Overflow where there is a hyphen before some of them, or newer versions you may need to use a hyphen. So always check whether there needs to be a hyphen or not. Some of the old commands slightly differ. Even if you've got Mastering Bitcoin 2nd edition, some of those examples are out of date. I can't remember which ones, but yeah, just check whether there's a hyphen or not. And also just do hyphen help. This might be useful. I did tree, so I went to my Bitcoin directory and you can see regtest. You've got ban list, blocks, change state, wallets. Wallets is the important bit, especially if you ever want to back up a wallet or delete a wallet. Be careful what you do. I've shown this so you know what's going on under the bonnet. And there we go, tree. If you do tree, if you've not got tree available, you will need to install it. I don't know if it's available on Windows, but on Unix, Linux, sudo apt get install tree. Is it brew install tree? I don't know if it's standard on Mac. You'll see wallet.dat, wallet.dat-journal. To be on the safe side, core wallet clients store their private keys in the wallet.dat file, acting as a master private key. The wallet.dat files hold your private keys, addresses, and transaction data. When these private keys or wallet.dat files are lost, it's impossible to recover your wallet and the funds in it. So make a backup, but keep it offline. Don't have it on a computer which is connected to the internet. And if it's on a USB key, wouldn't recommend it. Best thing to do is have a hardware key, hardware wallet even. Keep that somewhere safe and write down the 12 or 24 word phrase and keep that somewhere else. If you've got a house and you've got a garage which is in a separate building, hide it somewhere there. Or multi-sig. Look at multi-sig, where if you know 2 other people, as long as one of those other people have got the key, for instance, a multi-sig could be 2 out of 3 of you and need to sign a transaction. So yeah, not your keys, not your coins. don't keep your keys on exchanges, even if you buy your keys from your coins from an exchange. Don't leave them there, you'll get wrecked. Bitcoin, so there you can see that is the core repo. C++, Python, Shell, Makefile, and so on. Really, all of it, the Bitcoin core is written in C++. Python is mainly used for testing, so they've got numerous tests which they run with Python. You can see them, you can go on GitHub, you can look at them. You can fork them if you wanted. CI systems make sure that every pull request is built for Windows, Linux, and macOS, and that unit sanity tests are run automatically. Here's a Python example, or an example of some Python code which demonstrates how many Bitcoin will ever be mined. And here's the example written in Python, and you can see at the top, there's the output. Total sats ever mined. That's sats, so you need to divide it by 10 to the 8. And you end up with 21 million. So hopefully this video has shown you an insight into how to use Bitcoin Core and regtest. Regtest is a better way to get started. So this is, again, 101. It's how to get started with Bitcoin CLI, how to make command line transactions, queries to Bitcoin Core. Hopefully you will use this as inspiration and go on and buy those 2 books. Join sailor.org, sign up with Swan Bitcoin, purchase some Bitcoin. Once you understand it and have some skin in the game, then you'll wish you'd done it sooner. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.